All right, hey, good work. That's a heck of a job, man. Great complimentary football. Right now, here's the key is rest, right? We're on to the next one. Get your rest.
Talk to me, J.A.
Hey, it don't matter if it's by 40 or 40. Find a way to get it done. Short week. Celebrate this one tonight. Turn the page for the moment. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Finding a way. Finding a way every week. How about the Buffalo Bills? No overthinking, right? Go play some ball. Go play some football.
It's an exciting time to be a Buffalo Bill and a fan of the Buffalo Bills.
Welcome into week 3 of the Sean McDermott Show presented by Kaleida Health. Sean, thanks for being here again with us. It's nice to be doing these shows after a big win, another big win. And what did you learn about your team? I mean, you continue to get out of the blocks really quick. There was a lot of conversation in the preseason around the NFL about, do you play your starters in the preseason? You don't. You got to be kind of happy with the results.
Yeah, I feel like it all goes back to our training camp schedule, right?
Yeah, right.
And what we do with the starters in preseason. No, it's we're playing well. We're playing good football. We're getting off to good starts in games, and I think in both games, right, the offense has taken the ball first and going down the field and scored, which has been big for us.
Yeah, and it started with Stefon Diggs, 12 catches on 14 targets, 148 yards, 3 touchdowns throughout the game. Leads the NFL with 4 touchdowns, all of that stuff. What do you think of the way he has followed up his week in a week where you knew you're going to need him a little more with Gabe Davis out and some other stuff going on? I mean, he shows up big. Yeah,
and Gabe got hurt the day or two before the game there. So just Steph, I thought he played both games really with great energy. And that's half the battle sometimes. And then being able to sustain it throughout the course of the game. Josh and Steph obviously have great chemistry, but I also like how Josh spread the ball around as well, and other people got involved, tight ends, backs, other receivers as well, and then Steph kept showing up throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, as good as Josh has played, over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, a lot of his stuff comes off play action, particularly in this game. He leads the NFL since 2021 in play action TDs. What can you say about how Ken Dorsey has incorporated that in, and maybe some of it is the matchups that you've been playing, but play action has really been a weapon for you guys, and Ken Dorsey has maximized.
Well, I think coaches put together good plans. If they've got great chemistry on the offensive staff and great communication, and it's not just where you start in the game plan, as you know, but it's adjusting throughout the game. And they stopped us on a couple of drives, but the offensive staff made the adjustments necessary.
For most fans, the game's kind of simple. Do you go for it on 4th down? You were 2 or 3 on 4th down. One of them led directly to a touchdown. Diggs' 4-yard touchdown put you up 17-7 just before half. What's your deal with 4th down? How do you decide? What are the parameters? What are your philosophy?
Well, we want to be aggressive, and we knew going into the game, just the way we had played the last 2 games against the Titans, that they wanted to play a field position game and they wanted to keep it close. And we had a chance right there, not only to go up like we did 10 at half, but also to drain the clock for them. So if we did convert the 1st down, that we would continue to take time off the clock. And so that was some of the strategy baked into it, and then also trying to go up a score and a half there like we did.
So you come in, Gabe Davis, as you said, was hurt late in the week. McKenzie and Kumro step up in his place. You're down to 2 rookie cornerbacks during the game as Dane Jackson has to go out with his injury. Ed Oliver, Tim Settle are already out of this football game. And as a head coach, how do you reach down to the guys who aren't starters or normally starters on your roster, reach down to the depth of your roster and get those guys motivated and really prepared to play well?
Well, that goes to the coaches, really, and the players themselves. I mean, they took a lot of ownership in getting themselves ready to go. A player like Jake Kumaro, who really got thrown into the fire late in the week, but he's a consummate pro. He was preparing all week like he was going to play, even though he may not have played like he did the other night in terms of the amount. But that's why you do what you do, and the coaches did a phenomenal job, and then the players performed at a high level.
Yeah, and on the side of the defensive side of the ball, when you're most familiar with as a coordinator in your coaching days, you held the Titans to 187 total yards. Derrick Henry only had 25 yards on 13 carries. You had 4 turnovers. Milano's pick 6 is the crowning achievement of the night, kind of the cherry on the cake of the defensive day. What do you say about the adjustments that Leslie and his defensive staff? Because as it happens, Titans come out and go down the field and score on that opening drive of theirs, and they kind of fight tooth and nail to get there. But man, oh man, Leslie and his staff shut him off after that.
They did, and again, adjustments being the key word. Right. The communication on the defensive side, the position coaches and Leslie, making great adjustments and the players executing and changing some things up a little bit. We created some negative plays on the ensuing drives, and it's great to see Tremaine Edmonds get the big sack on the quarterback there, and then Greg Rousseau before half. And so we started to really get into a rhythm on defense, and then the complementary football piece, Steve, with the offense and the defense working in tandem with the special teams was fun to watch.
Yeah, so we were talking just before we got started here about, that place was packed early, before the guys even came out of the tunnel. Everybody was in their seat. It was crazy, going crazy, and they're chanting Josh MVP during the first half as the game wore on. What did you think, about the atmosphere and what it meant to your team? And certainly it had a small part in this. It was a lopsided win, so the crowd's going to front run for sure. But man, oh man, they started out in front and they never left.
Yeah, that's unique. We have some new coaches, on our staff. And they, since the game, have said, "Hey, is that how it is every week?" And I want to say yes, and I said it's close to that.
Every week you're 41-7. Yeah,
that's right. But to have Coach Levy there and Jim and Bruce and a packed house. You watched in the national anthem, have a chance to kind of just look around time to time, and it's rare that early in the game, at the start of the game, everyone's in their seats, and I think that really spoke to what Bills Mafia is all about.
All right, thanks, Coach. We're going to catch up with you later in the show to get your final thoughts on the upcoming game. 2-0 Miami Dolphins, 2-0 Buffalo Bills. We'll catch up with you later in the show to get started with that.
The Game Plan is presented by Energy Mark. Trust Energy Mark for renewable energy supply.
Coming up next, Eric Wood breaks down the big night for the Bills offense against the Titans. Later on, we'll have Isaiah McKenzie mic'd up.
Chopping Wood is presented by St. Bonaventure University, an official education partner of the Buffalo Bills.
Welcome back to the Sean McDermott Show, and it's now time to look back at the tape from the Bills' Monday night blowout of the Titans with our good buddy Eric Wood. The Bills dominated the Titans 41-7. Steph Diggs had an incredible game, and Josh had the fans chanting MVP throughout the second half. What stood out to you?
Well, the Bills got it done on offense in this game, and their two big studs who you mentioned led the way. Stefon Diggs had 12 catches, 148 yards, 3 touchdowns. Josh throws for over 300 yards, has 4 touchdowns himself. And coming into the game, Gabe Davis, their second target on offense, is out of the game, while Isaiah McKenzie stepped up in a big way, and so did Jake Kumaro.
Let's start with the supporting cast. On the opening drive, Josh connected with Reggie Gilliam, who took it in from 11 yards out.
So the Bills' first touchdown of the season in LA looked a lot like this on their opening drive. It was a short motion by Gabe Davis, who then leaked out for the wide open touchdown. This time they use a similar formation with a similar motion. Jake Kumaro comes in and he draws a lot of eyes in this play. Then they throw a screen back to Gilliam on the left-hand side. He breaks a very nice tackle at the line of scrimmage, which allowed a convoy of blockers to get out in front of him for the walk-in score.
That was a great play, well executed, particularly by Gilliam himself. So the Titans force a fourth down. McDermott decided to keep the offense on the field for the conversion, and it pays off. Josh found Diggs from 4 yards out.
There's a lot of moving parts on this play. You have Isaiah McKenzie motioning back into the backfield. Then you have the play fake to Moss. And I believe that Isaiah McKenzie would have been the primary option on this play if he's open immediately on the left side. The Titans are in man-to-man defense, and he runs with them immediately. They cover that in the flat. Stefon Diggs able to escape kind of out the backhand side. With all that movement towards the left side, Diggs just kind of runs free on the backside of that defense, and Josh Allen shows off his arm strength from the left side of the field, throws it all the way back across the field into the end zone for the score.
And on the Bills' first drive of the second half, Josh found Diggs again on a deep shot. This one went for 46 yards and another touchdown.
The Titans are in a 3-deep look here, and they're going to occupy 2 of them and get Diggs one-on-one. And up at the top of the screen, Kumaro is going to occupy that corner. Isaiah McKenzie going to run a deep crossing route across the middle of the field, which is going to draw up that safety. This is going to leave Diggs one-on-one. He gets the defensive back to stumble a little bit with his quick movement to the outside. Then he takes it over the top. Josh Allen throws the ball right on time for the easy score again.
And then after an enormous Jordan Poyer interception, Josh connected with Diggs for the third time to put the nail in the coffin. What did you see here?
The Bills run hard play action, and when they run the hard play action, it's going to suck up the defenders into the line of scrimmage again. Watch these linebackers come downhill. It looks like the weak side linebacker may be on a blitz. The other linebacker's just simply coming downhill on this play. The safeties are drawn up into the line of scrimmage as well, and Stefon Diggs one-on-one against the cornerbacks for the Titans was simply unstoppable, and he does it again here.
Great stuff as always, Eric. Thanks for this. We're going to catch up with you next week to break down the tape from the Bills' first divisional matchup with the Dolphins.
Looking forward to it, Steve.
Next up on the Sean McDermott Show, Isaiah McKenzie is mic'd up for Monday Night Football. And later, we'll look at some next-gen stats in Sportsology.
Mic'd Up is presented by Geico.
Oh, let me get down! I got a couple go balls in me today. We here. We here. Woo! Yeah! 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 Come on, dear! Big dude stepping on my feet. Let's make it happen. He's good, bro. It's amazing. That's Superman. Come on. Hey, that's 2 picks. Hey, Josh, Jordan Poyer is good. Jordan Poyer is amazing. He's a grinder.
Gonna throw it to Diggs. Bobbles makes the catch into the end zone. Touchdown.
Oh my God, this is going crazy. Yeah, boy. Look at him, look at him.
Stefon Diggs, the hat trick. His third touchdown for the Bills. And they are rolling now.
You have it for, hey, give me my clap, give me my clap. Yeah, yeah. Man, who the put me on that? Come on, mini mafia, and they gonna put me on there. That's awesome, I love it. What the was this? What is this? You need to stop, World Star, you need to stop that last one. You need to stop, you need to watch the YouTube. I get it for you. The quarterback. Another day, another fella. We got the win. I'm mic'd up. That's a wrap.
Coming up next on the show, we break down the science behind some of Monday night's biggest plays. Then we preview Sunday's showdown with the Dolphins.
Sportsology is presented by ECMC. ECMC, bringing hope and healing to Western New York.
Tannehill takes, looks, guns it downfield, picked off, intercepted at the 45-yard line, picked off by Matt Milano, headed to the end zone, he is in! Touchdown Buffalo! Matt Milano! Touchdown Buffalo! They are rolling him now!
It's 2nd down and 12 from Tennessee's 39-yard line. The Titans offense is in an 11 personnel set up against a 4-2-5 Bills nickel defense. Matt Milano is the will linebacker. Titans wide receiver Nick Westbrook-Ikhine is aligned in the right slot. The ball is snapped and Westbrook-Ikhine runs an out route. Ryan Tannehill looks right and throws, but Matt Milano jumps the receiver's route and makes the interception. He immediately runs the ball 43 yards for the Bills' touchdown. Matt Milano ran a total of 49.1 yards on this play, and he topped out at a speed of 19.8 miles per hour. Tannehill's pass was in the air for 0.7 seconds, and when the ball arrived, Milano had just 0.84 yards of separation from the Titans receiver. This play had a completion probability of 49.7% and took 8.7 seconds to complete.
First down, Bills at their own 33. Toss sweep, left side. Cook has the ball, and Cook's on the run across midfield into Tennessee territory. Finally tracked down and brought down to the ground.
It's first down and 10 from Buffalo's 33. The Bills' offense is in a 21 personnel set up against a 3-3-5 Titans nickel defense. Quarterback Case Keenum is under center. He takes the snap and pitches the ball to rookie running back James Cook. Left tackle Deion Dawkins pulls left and bulldozes Titans defensive back Chris Jackson, clearing a path for Cook. He picks up 33 yards before finally being tackled out of bounds at Tennessee's 34. On this play, Cook traveled a total of 56.47 yards, the most of any player. 32.6 of his yards came after the initial contact with the Titans linebacker. Cook was also the fastest Bill, topping out at a speed of 20.03 miles per hour. The expected rushing yards were only 18, and there was a 70.2% chance of this play resulting in a first down. With this week's Sportsology, I'm Maddy Glab.
When we come back, we break down the matchup with the Dolphins, and Coach shares his final thoughts on Sunday's divisional showdown in South Beach.
Game Preview is presented by Independent Health. You deserve the red shirt treatment.
Welcome into this week's Game Preview. Maddy Glab alongside Bills insider Chris Brown, giving you a storyline or two to follow in this Week 3 matchup with the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins, Bills, just 2 of the 6 remaining undefeated teams in the NFL. Only one will remain after this one, at least in the AFC East. Now for the Dolphins, Tua and Tyreek and Jalen Waddle have been going off. Tua leads the NFL in passing yards right now. Tyreek leads the NFL in receiving yards, and Jalen Waddle is not far behind Tyreek Hill. In the last game the Dolphins played, Tyreek and Jalen both had over 150 receiving yards. So, Chris, when you look at what the Dolphins have been able to do, how tough is it going to be for the Bills here in Week 3 against a team who they've beat the last 7 matchups in a row?
Yeah, I mean, I still think the Bills are the superior team. The question is who is going to be up and available in light of all the injuries we saw in Monday night's game and people who were unable to play in last week's game, namely Gabe Davis, Ed Oliver, and Tim Settle. What is their status going into Sunday? That will largely determine, the depth, the rotation, especially on the defensive line, which I think is, again, another major key in this game.
Can you limit Tyreek? Can you limit Jalen? Can you limit Tua? A bunch of question marks heading into this big Week 3 matchup. That's this week's Game Preview.
We're back with Sean McDermott. Coach, this is your first division game of the year. Both teams are 2-0. Short week for the Buffalo Bills after a lot of time off before that Monday night game. What's on the front burner for you guys as this week takes place?
Yeah, it's really got to be rest for the players, a little bit for the coaches, but putting together a good game plan this week and getting our feet back underneath of us and preparing like we know how to prepare. The different part of this week, really, Steve, compared to the first 2 is even though it's a short week, it's kind of a normal week. So we have to get in our work and get ourselves ready to go.
Well, despite the first week against the Rams, who have a great offense, but it was that week 1, kind of a lot of question marks going into it. Now you're a couple of games under your belt, and the Dolphins seem to be playing really good offense. Tua had 6 touchdowns in week 2, career high, over 400 yards passing. What is the key to stop an offense like this Dolphins team?
Well, I think we're going to have to get a track team out there. I mean, they're super fast. They've got speed all over the place, speed in the backfield, not just on the edges with Hill and Waddle there, but with Mostert in the backfield as well as the other back that they have in terms of the 1-2 punch back there. So extremely fast, and they can make plays fast, and they can come from behind in a hurry like they did last week against the Ravens.
Right, so you got Tyreek and Jalen Waddle on the outside. Jalen Waddle's a really kind of a well-rounded slot guy. Tyreek, you're very familiar with from his time in Kansas City. How do you keep a lid on an offense that, wants to always take the lid off?
It's tough. There's only so many defenses and so many players on the field at one time, and the speed element is huge. And it's not just on one side with Tyreek, it's on the other side with Waddle. And so if you get too heavily balanced to the one side, then they burn you on the backside. So we're just going to have a good plan and make sure we're disciplined throughout the game.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck in Miami this week. We're going to be back next week to recap the Miami game and then talk about the upcoming matchup on the road with the Baltimore Ravens. And for you at home, thanks for watching the Sean McDermott Show presented by Kaleida Health, and we'll see you next week. And as always, go Bills.
Final Thoughts is presented by Toyota. Toyota is the exclusive and official vehicle of the Buffalo Bills. Toyota, let's go places. The Sean McDermott Show is presented by Kaleida Health, the official healthcare provider of the Buffalo Bills. By Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys. Call 716-684-COMP today. By Toyota. Toyota is the exclusive and official vehicle of the Buffalo Bills. Toyota, let's go places. And by Independent Health. You deserve the red shirt treatment.